Yeah. Oh, that's hot. That's hot. Yeah, if I control rewind, I would want...
Hello, you're listening to the Film Focus podcast. You're joined by myself, Sean, and Matthew and Ben.
Hello.
And,
Hello.
We get right into talking about a very important matter in the spider realm, the Spider-Man realm. Well, there's a trailer for Morbius the Vampire. I think it's just called Morbius.
I think so.
Nobody really cares, but what it's called. Jared Leto, a famed actor from Suicide Squad.
Would have thought he'd learned his lesson by now.
Yeah, he's back. He's back with a film that looks like it's from 2001. He's playing a vampire, and
See, there's that bit in the trailer where he just like lists off his abilities. It's like echolocation,
Yeah.
super strength.
well, basically, it's connected to Spider-Man, or Sony's Spider-Man. It's very
That's the real
confusing.
twist.
That it's also kind of connected to the MCU because Michael Keaton as the Vulture.
Yeah, Vulture's in it.
Is at the end of the trailer.
So somebody said that is going to be like a post-credit scene that they've put in the
Yeah,
trailer.
that really wouldn't surprise me if
That
it
would
was.
make sense.
Yeah.
It's like he's going to show up for 10 seconds.
They
And
would
like,
having the Vulture as a main character,
Yeah.
but then like, who knows what the whole film is.
And like, it's definitely the Vulture because he's wearing the same prison outfit he's wearing at the end of Homecoming. So
yeah.
it's clearly linked to the MCU now, which is kind of shit.
I do have begrudging respect towards Sony for that.
What do you mean?
Or just forcing their trash into the MCU
Yeah.
is
So
I do you have to admire that.
Are they setting up a Sinister Six with Venom, Morbius, and then like Vulture and
Scorpion.
Mysterio and Scorpion?
Shocker, maybe?
Maybe the Shocker.
I don't know, well they tried the Sinister Six before, so they'll probably just
Try it again.
tweak the script a bit. Which
But-
nobody wanted it last time, and I
Yeah.
don't think there's much appetite for it this time.
No. I think this film will bomb because Venom
Yeah.
has like
Venom,
he's got clout.
he does have clout.
People know
Venom.
who he is.
And he looks cool. That
He
is
looks cool.
The entire reason
Yeah.
Venom's successful.
And also Tom Hardy is a bigger star than Leto.
He's certainly more watchable.
Yeah.
So
He's more of a draw.
So the
definitely.
fact
True.
that Venom did well isn't like necessarily a sign. I
It's
think
based on the property of
Yeah.
Venom, and he looks cool,
Yeah.
and people know him
Who he
because of
is.
Spider-Man. You don't think of Morbius and think, oh, that's Spider-Man.
I know he's
I don't know what
one
I
of
really
the
think
weirdest
of.
Spider-Man villains. He always seemed out of place. Like why a vampire?
And just, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it looks like just kind of desperate that
Unless they use-
Sony have like cobbled together any remaining like
Anything
minor
that they have.
shitty character and been like,
Yeah.
we need to make movies. Come on, like.
Can't wait for Madam
Unless
Web.
they use this to introduce Blade, in which case I just feel sorry for Shah Ali.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense, but then it makes no sense because that is MCU.
Yeah.
But then this is.
So
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just feel
But-
sorry for Kevin Feige. Like he has to like
Yeah,
acknowledge these
so-
films exist
I
now.
know.
But Venom and Morbius.
It just
The
doesn't really look
beginning
like.
of the dream is dead. This
I know.
is the beginning of
It
the
doesn't
end.
look like it's got a script really either. It's just.
Looks like Venom again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just him being weird as
like
a
you said,
vampire.
it looks like something that's from, like 20
Like it
years
has
ago.
like
Yeah.
all the most generic kind of like guy with an illness does a scientific experiment,
Yeah, it's
makes
Spider-Man
him super
1 or
strong,
something kind of
and
vibes,
he's like, it's like, oh my god, that looks awful.
That's probably about as much as we can say on that.
Probably.
But
That's the spider
it looks
update.
terrible.
We'll probably have to see that just to see how bad it
I'm
is.
not
Yeah.
seeing Morbius.
I definitely not see it in
I don't
cinema.
want to. Yeah, I don't want to pay money for that.
No. Yeah, so that's Morbius out the way. Now on to another classic, probably the greatest film the last decade that I watched, Gemini Man.
I am curious to hear about Gemini Man.
Starring Will Smith and Will Smith. Yeah, so I finally watched this. When I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, that looks pretty spectacularly bad. I'll probably watch that someday.
Yeah, I remember when the
And,
trailer came out, you were like, oh, I need to watch that.
Yeah.
I think we actually briefly mentioned Gemini Man in the very first episode.
Probably around the time I saw the trailer. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the long-awaited follow-up to that. But yeah, anyway, I watched it last night, and yeah, it is bad. Like the first half an hour, it's just kind of boring. Like it doesn't seem like it's going to be terrible. It's just kind of generic, kind of Will Smith kind of action where he's like some sort of agent or something for the government, and then the government lies to him. He's like, "Oh, I'm retiring. I'm done with this," or whatever.
Oh, right.
And then half an hour into the film, you get young Will Smith out of nowhere just trying to kill him.
Okay.
And
So how did they do it? Did they just make?
It's Will
did they
Smith.
just do him and put a load of like?
it's really bad CGI, yeah.
Yeah.
Depending how you look at it, too good, because most American cinemas couldn't play the film because it was like 120 frames per second, the
Oh,
film.
yeah, I remember hearing about
So
that.
like most, I guess projectors just couldn't project that.
Like, what was the point in that though? Like,
I don't know, Ang Lee likes
So
stuff
good,
like that,
Matthew. Like the CGI. Like, why do you need another actor when you
it's
can
like
just
48
get
is like
Will
double,
Smith?
and even that people were like, this doesn't look right.
No,
so they're
yeah.
doing it that much.
Also, I found it weird that they literally make him look like Fresh Prince era, like with the haircut. and
Yeah, I
everything.
noticed
It's
that.
like it's like the only reference they had for like. It's just really weird. Like it's like 90s young Will Smith rather than like his haircut now. I
Yeah.
think. So
Well, I
it's-
said this before, that this would be one of the very few times that it's completely appropriate to have Will Smith and Jaden
Oh, yeah,
Smith in a
Jaden,
film
yeah.
together.
yeah, it
If
would've-
Jaden Smith played younger Will Smith, that would
probably
work.
been more preferable, or maybe it wouldn't be as funny if it was Shane.
No,
but,
it probably wouldn't have
no,
the same gimmick
no.
as two Will Smiths.
But yeah, so basically you find
Personal.
out, spoilers for this shitty film no one will watch, you find out that like the government made another Will Smith because he was such a good,
Yeah, I assumed that
Agent.
was going to be.
yeah, it was
Is that a
like,
twist?
I
It's
don't
in the
know.
trailer.
I don't fucking know, I'm just trying to get through this.
And
but,
then what? Like he knows too much, so they
Um,
send the new one to kill him. Is that?
well, because he's kind of deserted them and he's trying to like disappear, like they just want him out of the picture kind of thing, because he knows too much, I guess, like
Yeah.
you said. But then this young Will Smith starts having like moral dilemmas and he's like moaning in his like bedroom and he's starting to be conflicted about it all, and it's pretty laughable, like him like being a stroppy kind of with his dad who's like the government guy, Junior as he's called or something in the film. And then you get any scene where like Will Smith and Will Smith are together is just good stuff, really. Like it's just funny, and like the dialogue's terrible. It's kind of like prequel worthy kind of dialogue. There's a bit where like young Will Smith like says, "I'm not you, old man," or something. Like it's just really weird, like Will Smith calling himself old man. Kind of like how Joe Pesci calls Robert De Niro kid in
Yeah.
The Irishman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of just some action scenes where they're fighting is pretty funny. And then I think there's one part where like Will Smith pisses off young Will Smith by like saying like, "Oh, you're just a virgin" or something, and he like fucking goes ballistic and like Will Smith.
Okay.
And then there's a fucking great twist at the end where there's another Will Smith. Just like
Is he like a teenager?
he's like the best, quote unquote, best Will Smith because he's like has no moral emotions or whatever, and he's like the young one.
So
But
then-
They should have had it so he was actually the oldest Will Smith and they age him up, and then the whole time the original Will Smith was also a clone. That'd really make you think.
yeah, it's bizarre because
So
the government guy who he lives with the first young Will Smith who has like the moral dilemmas and kind of joins regular Will Smith. I don't know why he's raising him as a human being when the only thing he wants is this other Will Smith he's created to be like an army of soldiers that will do anything he wants. It's like, why did you bother making this other clone that like has thought? And it doesn't really make any sense.
So I'm guessing that both of the real Will Smith and the first clone team up to defeat the
Oh
evil.
yeah. Yeah, young Will Smith wants to kill the dad government figure that he has.
Yeah.
But then old Will Smith's like, "No, once you do it, you can't go back," and like does it for him. And then it ends with like young Will Smith being in like high school, and then old Will Smith like,
Wait, in high school?
or yeah, college maybe. I don't know.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, it doesn't look that young. So you better be like 14.
That'd be a
Yeah.
good sequel though. Will Smith in high school. 17
Will
again,
Smith
so-
5 or something. I don't know. Yeah, so pretty fucking terrible film if I'm honest. But there are some funny. I did get what I wanted out of it. It was
Nice.
So it's
pretty
like it's
laughable.
bad enough to be funny.
Yeah, the worst crime it does is like it's boring at times, like the beginning, and then when there's not enough Will Smith in the film, it's a bit boring. Well, I think Wong from Doctor Strange is in it as well.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I don't know why he picked that film, or why Will Smith did either, to be fair. Yeah, that's Gemini Man for you, but I hope it gets wins all the Oscars, you know. I really think the Academy will really love that one. But yeah, I think we're gonna move on to talk about some like actual decent films we've seen. So
Good idea.
yeah. Should we start with 1917?
1917, yes,
We all watched
We've
that.
all seen that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you guys think of it?
Thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I
I'd
was
agree.
pleasantly surprised. The thing that's all done as, you know, one take is the big thing about it, the big sort of big point of discussion. I thought my concern was that'd be a bit gimmicky or take me out of the film, or it seemed like it was trying too hard, but that didn't happen for me. I thought it was really well done.
And it definitely enhanced it, I think.
Yeah.
Made it
It
much
makes the
more
film
intense.
tense, which is the kind of the point. I mean, there's films like Birdman. I don't know. I haven't really seen a kind of action war film.
That's the thing.
Well, I think it does it better than Birdman.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd actually agree with that.
Because of the pacing of it. In Birdman, you sometimes have to just watch people walk through
Yeah, a lot
hallways.
of that. Well, it's like this is like clearly like a journey.
Stuff's constantly happening. It's a constant moving forward, or at least trying to. And I think the one take feature really does add to that.
Yeah, I think like Bravo, Roger Deakins and Sam Mendes, because like for like Deakins for like doing the cinematography and making it look great, but then Sam Mendes like just plan that whole film must have been very time consuming because you'd have to like nail literally every take, and there's clearly not a lot.
There was a lot of times
film,
watching it where I was just like, how the hell did they do that? Like,
I was impressed with Roger Deakins. I didn't know he was the cinematographer for it.
He is,
because when I think of Roger Deakins, I think of like big widescreen
like
static
Blade
shots of landscapes and silhouettes.
Yeah.
But in big
it's quite open
paintings, but it's constantly moving. There's very few shots of still shots.
And the fact that they still manage to get like it's constantly going, but they still have amazing looking like shots and stuff.
Yeah,
like there's some really nice. Like I think the part that stands out is when he's in the burning village. You know?
I was
Definitely
thinking about that.
But
even some of the small moments, like I guess we won't spoil it just yet, but like there's actors that come and go in the film, like Colin Firth.
All of the big stars have like 2 minutes
Benedict
of screen time
Cumberbatch
each.
and like Mark Strong. I'm thinking of the Mark Strong moment because like a lot of the time he's not. A lot of time he's not, in the front of the frame.
Yeah, there's
much.
a few things like that.
He's kind of in the background a lot, and you don't. He's not because with a big star, you expect they'll be like taking the screen up.
Yeah, that's true.
They use sparingly, but the performances are all really good. So it's there's not really a wasted moment, I guess.
Yeah, it's like hard. It's hard to like think of any.
Well, that's another thing. The performances are very good.
Yeah.
Because I was concerned at the beginning that it would be like Gravity, where it's a really exciting, technically impressive film that doesn't have much substance to it and doesn't really have much to get you to re-watch it.
No, I've never rewatched Gravity.
But I think the characters were good enough that there was actual substance and drama to it. And I cared about Schofield and his journey.
The story was good.
Good performances.
And I liked how it kind of very lightly touched on like things you don't see in a lot of World War One. I mean, you don't see a lot of World War One films anyway.
Yeah.
Like how it kind of deals with like women's role in the war. Also, just like different races in the war as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was done well, and like it's interesting to see because you don't see a lot of it. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that bit when they're in the truck talking to like the other soldiers.
Yeah.
Because like the vast majority of the movie is just like those two guys on their own.
Yeah.
So when he does speak to other people, it's kind of like a nice moment that makes it seem a bit. Yeah.
Should we go into spoilers or? I mean, there's not a whole lot, I guess, to spoil.
Yeah, I mean, there's one major spoiler.
Maybe say somewhere to skip to avoid spoilers.
Well, I guess we can do spoilers then. Yeah.
So obviously one of the main characters dies like maybe not even midway through the film.
I was surprised.
I was surprised. I didn't know he was gonna die.
No.
In the trailers, you see Schofield on his own towards the end. They show that bit in the trailers.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that.
I didn't expect
Blake to die, especially because he's got more to do at the beginning.
Well, it's like his journey essentially.
It's like a double twist because at first I was surprised that he was given more of a prominent role because I thought Schofield was the main character based on the marketing. So I was like, oh, okay, Blake's the main character.
Oh wait,
And then-
no, I did think I didn't really, I guess, pay that much attention to the trailer. So I did think Blake was kind of it was his journey kind of thing. So when he did die, I was like, oh, okay.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it went both ways. At first, I assumed going into it, Schofield would be the main character. Then it's like, oh, okay, it's not Blake's brother.
Yeah.
He's going to be the main character. He's doing more, and he dies. Wow, I did not expect that.
And it wasn't very like spectacular, his death. It was kind of like pretty like
unexpected,
pathetic,
when
like
he
just
gets
the way
stabbed.
And because it is like the one shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
You think like you're expecting him to come up with some way to save him or something, and I guess the fact that it is based on like a true story.
It made it seem.
It made it more real.
Like,
because in like Hollywood films,
like, fancy, like
it'd be like he'd save him.
And it's quite drawn out as well, which makes it kind of extra.
Yeah. I wasn't sure he was going to die or not.
Yeah.
And then it reaches a point where it sinks in. Okay, he is actually dying.
And that was pretty good set piece with the plane as well.
Yeah.
Like that stuff.
Yeah, that bit was amazing. Like that.
Like I was saying, I like how stuff in the background can become part of the story, or it can not.
Yeah. Like just when you think that plane has like gone down, just it's like, oh, it's going to explode. Oh my god! Just technically amazing. I was thinking how even though it might not be my favourite film of the best picture ones, I don't know what is at the moment, but even if it's not my favourite, I think it should win best directing.
Cinematography as well.
Yeah, because it's like, even if say you prefer The Irishman, I don't know if I do, but even if you think like that's a better film overall, like the direction in 1917 is just objectively like amazing. It's like it's kind of like, just to do that, it has, for me, that is like, well, that needs to get the award.
Not that The Irishman is. I mean, that is a very well directed film, but it's not. It's nothing
more conventionally.
It's not like a new thing. That is like as time consuming or as impressive.
And it's like The Irishman's well directed and stuff, but it's like this film is properly like a technical achievement.
I'd also say, because like I'm sure Martin Scorsese has like
he already has
a bunch of
at least
stuff.
one. I don't know. I don't know how many.
Well, at least nominations. He must have like a million.
Has he? He's definitely won one, hasn't he, Scorsese? He must.
Maybe I'm pulling that out.
I don't know, because he didn't. The only one Goodfellas one is Joe Pesci, actually, which is surprising. But I would have thought he has to have a Best Director Oscar, right?
I don't know.
Considering how many movies
should have looked that up, I guess. But
I think maybe The Departed one.
I think won Best Picture.
Maybe.
I feel The Departed.
I don't know if he ever won. I don't know if he's ever won Best Director.
But anyway, he's kind of like,
There's other awards within the Oscars he could win, like Best Film or something. As well. So.
But I think Best Direction should just, by virtue of like how it's done, go to
I don't have anything more to say on it. Really.
Like
just go see
basically
it.
The score I actually
really
I
really
like
the
score.
I
did think that.
That was a moment that really enhanced the village bit we were talking about earlier. The combination of the way it looks on the music.
That
really
bit where it's like kind of like going out the window and that music's kind of like swelling and stuff.
Yeah, I do remember me and Matthew saying after like the score was really good. So.
Thomas Newman, he's the man. He's done Sam Mendes' other films. He's a good composer. So I really don't have like really any complaints about 1917. It's like everything.
I don't think I do.
Everything I wanted, it was like,
I was hoping for a sweet one-take mustard gas scene.
Oh right.
I was really hoping for some mustard gas, but there wasn't one. So I'd have to mark it down for that. That's always a big thing in the war poetry when it's like, oh boys, the mustard gas.
Well, an interesting thing I read actually is
drop the ball there.
The big shot at the end where he goes over the trench and he's running along and it's like going along for ages. That bit where he like smashes into another soldier and falls over. That wasn't scripted apparently. That just happened, and he just kept going.
Works.
And I was thinking it works so well because the camera doesn't. I noticed this at the time. The camera doesn't slow down. It just keeps going, and he gets up and he has to like do this like extra fast run because he's like, oh, I need to get back up to the camera, and it's like, oh, it's shit. It's like it feels like.
I don't know about you, but when he finally delivered the message, I didn't even feel any like relief or triumph.
Yeah. Well, that's
what I was expecting. I was expecting finally there'd be that great moment where he delivers the message, like, whew! He finally did it, but he doesn't.
Benedict Cumberbatch is just like, we'll get an order next week to attack.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's not. There's no catharsis. It's just.
I think that's the point.
It just ends.
Yeah. Yeah, it does a good job of showing the pointlessness of it all. Like, it like ends in the same way, like virtually the same way it started. You know.
With his tree.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, he hasn't really achieved anything. Like, great movie.
That one. Go see it. Yeah.
Definitely go see that. Yeah,
especially in cinemas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one for if you can find the biggest screen possible. And
yeah, the next one me and Ben want to talk about is Jojo Rabbit.
Yes.
Which Matthew hasn't seen. But,
quite a divisive one among
me and
Ben
disagree on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, usually I think on this podcast so far we've agreed on most
I can't
things.
think of any things that there hasn't been a consensus on.
No.
We tend to...
But, you know, don't agree on everything. So.
I haven't seen it, so I'll say, like, all I really know about it is... Well, it's Taika Waititi, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a satire, I guess you'd call it, of a little kid in Germany during the Nazis.
Yeah.
And he like has an imaginary friend version of Hitler.
Yes.
And I don't really know anything. That's all I kind of...
So I suppose we won't go into spoilers for this one. We will just talk about...
I mean, you can give some details.
Yeah, we have to give a little bit more details.
Like, I don't mind minor things.
Expanding upon that, like basically the main character Jojo, I guess he's in the Hitler Youth.
I wondered
in like a youth camp. Yeah.
So on the trailer that they were in those uniforms.
And he's like very like in the mindset of like wanting to support his country, which is being like the best Nazi soldier possible.
Yeah, he's a very enthusiastic Nazi.
Which is where like the Hitler... in theory.
Yeah.
Which is where the imaginary Hitler friend kind of comes from. Which I think when you mention this film to people that really don't know about it, like that's probably... They're like, what? Like, what is this film? And probably disregard it or something. Which maybe Ben would agree with.
It's certainly an odd premise. Like.
Yeah, it's a very odd premise. I think it's based on a book Taika Waititi's mother like recommended to him or something, and then he wrote the film and starred and directed it. So yeah, that's kind of the premise. And then there's these other characters. You've got like Scarlett Johansson as his mother, and she's like the different mindset to Jojo.
Where she's like anti-Hitler.
She's anti-Hitler.
But she can't vocally be anti-Hitler.
No,
so
obviously not.
Sort of trying to maintain that balance.
And then you got Sam Rockwell was like the kind of Hitler youth camp leader.
Oh right.
He's kind of like a drunk, like useless kind of guy, I guess. Would you say? Yeah.
Sam Rockwell's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
I like him,
yeah. Alfie Allen is like his assistant.
Yeah, and, he has a line.
Wait, who's that?
He's in Game of Thrones.
and
John Wick.
Is he in John Wick?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He's the one of the gangsters who kills John Wick's dog.
Okay. Been a while since I've seen that, I guess. He doesn't really have much of a role in the film. Like, he appears on screen, but he doesn't really say or do anything.
Isn't Stephen Merchant
in that?
Yeah, he is like...
he's an SS officer.
Gestapo, guy.
Yeah.
He's funny, he definitely suits that role. I think he might have been cut out of the film more than...
Yeah, he has at least one line.
There's something in the trailer that isn't in the film.
Oh,
It's
really?
probably a deleted scene or something.
They cut him down.
And then you got Rebel Wilson as another kind of Hitler.
Oh, that's right. I liked her in this.
Yeah. Usually I'm not, the biggest fan, but I thought she was funny in this. Yeah. Is there anyone else I'm missing?
Oh, those are the big names.
Yeah, they're the big ones.
Of course, Taika Waititi is Hitler.
Taika Waititi, as Adolf Hitler, And then it kind of just followed. We won't spoil it, but it's kind of like his like dilemma, of his mum and his kind of own ideals, kind of thing. And then I thought it had a good balance of both drama and comedy.
Yeah, because that premise is kind of one of those things where it's like you couldn't really go all on the comedy thing because it's like we're making a movie about Nazis. So I wondered how well they'd like balance that. Yeah.
I mean, this is my opinion, but I thought they did it well. And the drama in the film, I definitely found it emotional at times. And then I found the comedy funny. Like, it is silly. It is.
Is it kind of quite like
it's
typical
Taika,
kind of like?
But what do you think, Ben? I know you have a very different
It just
opinion.
fell flat for me.
Yeah.
I found that I didn't connect with the drama. You have these big emotional moments that I just didn't work for me.
That's interesting.
The humour...
Because I could see not liking the humour maybe, but I thought the drama was well done.
I actually really liked. Well, this is one other point we disagree on. Is Scarlett Johansson was my favourite bit of it. I thought she did a really good performance. I really enjoyed her.
I liked her overall. There was just one scene that was, a little bit.
There's one scene she's she's having dinner with her son. And she's just sort of fooling around,
goofing about,
which I really enjoyed.
Which is weird considering you find most of the humour pretty silly.
I didn't find it funny. But I enjoyed that performance. I enjoyed seeing it connect.
Right, no, it is a good performance. I don't think I ever said it wasn't, but that one scene.
Yeah, I remember talking about that scene afterwards. I assumed you felt the same way about her in general.
Oh no! I actually liked her in the film.
The humour didn't work for me. Because sometimes it's just too silly. I thought for me the big thing was Taika Waititi's Hitler. The thing I don't like is that he's in on the joke. His dialogue is winking at the audience too much.
I don't know what you expected though. Like,
no, there's one bit where
Taika Waititi as Hitler.
Yeah, but just there's one bit where he says, there's one bit where he says, that there shouldn't be anything weird about this. And the joke is that there obviously is something weird about this.
Well, there is.
Yeah, exactly, but the character shouldn't know that. He's winking at the audience. It's far too self-conscious.
He's an imaginary character there.
It didn't work for me. I just feel at some point in production, someone should have said to Taika Waititi, "This is simply not as funny as you think it is." Instead of letting the man make a whole film as an increasingly grating imaginary Hitler who speaks
so do you think that
2010 social media-isms. It didn't work. It just did not work.
Yeah, I disagree on that completely.
So do you think that in particular, he's not very he's a not very funny.
In particular, his character is probably the biggest disappointment.
Yeah. Well, you do know that he originally didn't want to be Hitler. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. He shouldn't have been.
Because I think the studios said you can make it, but you should be Hitler, because I think they couldn't really find.
Because nobody else wants.
They didn't want. No one else really wanted to do
a comedy.
Yeah,
they're gonna. And also, he's mixed race.
If you know it's Taika Waititi, you can kind of you can get away. I don't know if get away is the right term, but he's half Jewish, half Maori. Yeah.
So I guess that's partly why.
Yeah, that's kind of why it's funny, and I don't think
that's why it should be funny. Execution, it's just not. Don't get me wrong. I was really looking forward to this film. I thought Taika Waititi as Hitler was a great idea. I was so on board with it, and I was watching it thinking this just isn't landing.
Well, it's interesting hearing you guys say that there was actually drama and emotional moments, because just from the trailer, it seemed to me, just from watching that it was. It came across as quite.
Well, that's a very forceful
attempt
fully at drama and emotional moments.
Yeah. Do you think?
It doesn't, in my opinion, it's really piled on.
So it
just can't get into spoilers.
So basically, you think it didn't manage to find that balance?
No, I don't think it was successful.
It felt forced.
I think it did, because it set up the characters and their ideals at the start of the film, and then the characters develop over the course of the film, and obviously stuff changes.
But then also, this is also a problem I had with it. It's a completely toothless satire.
Oh, you mean it's not very
I've heard that criticism.
I don't even know what it calls it. It labels it. The tagline was an anti-hate satire.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't even know what it's satirising. By default, Nazis you would assume, but what?
Yeah.
But it doesn't there's no target to it. Do you know do you know Nathan For You?
I know about it. I've not seen it.
It's about Nathan
Businessman
Fielder. He produced Who Is America and co-directed and wrote some of it. He has a show called Nathan For You, where he pretends to help out struggling independent businesses by actually just giving them awkward, terrible ideas. It's a Sacha Baron Cohen type thing.
Yeah, alright.
And there's one episode where he helps an independent coffee chain by rebranding them as Dumb Starbucks and being able to use all the Starbucks logo and branding, because Dumb Starbucks is the legal minimum that counts as a parody, so it can become fair use. And that is the level of satire in Jojo Rabbit. It's dumb Nazis.
The thing is, I have to say,
what if Nazis were silly?
Yeah. The thing
no, I disagree. There is that in it. It's more about the characters, I find. It's about Jojo and his mother and some other characters in the film, and it's about what it was like being, I guess, a young boy in that period.
Not that bad, apparently. It's all pretty fine.
Well, I don't expect them to be historically accurate.
With no spoilers, it's also the only World War II film I've ever seen where the Allies are the villains. I don't want to get into detail because that would be a spoiler.
But to be fair, that's kind
of... What did you expect? It's set in Nazi
that makes
Germany.
Sense. That makes sense.
But it doesn't though, because it's supposed to be about why the Nazis... It's an anti-hate satire where the Nazis are basically not that bad. The worst one's Stephen Merchant, and he's just Stephen Merchant.
They are
It's
bad.
basically all fighting in Nazi Germany.
There's clearly hints of the bad stuff they're doing throughout the film. In fact, the whole film is this guy, Jojo, discovering that the Nazis are fucking terrible.
We can't go... They're not, in the end.
Well, we can't go into...
We say, we can't go into... I don't know, Matthew, maybe you should leave the room, because...
No, it's fine.
I don't mind if you want to, like...
No, I don't want it, it's fine.
But, see, the interesting thing for me about you said about the satire is I did think when I saw the poster that the only reason they were using that word is because it was, like, about,
Well, that was what I assumed. They wanted to make it really clear.
It's not comedy, it's a satire.
Condoning,
yeah. Because
because it's such a clunky line.
Not that this is an insult to it or anything, but it didn't look like a satire is kind of like
the studio's fault about all of the marketing, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more about the story and the characters.
Yeah.
And then the studio thought, well, the only way we can market it is if it's like this, fucking tearing the Nazis down satire kind of thing.
Yeah. That is true that maybe they were so nervous about like having like a goofy Hitler film that they just had to have a slogan saying, "This is a satire." Guys, this is a joke.
No, I think they had to.
Yeah. I can understand why they would want to do that. Yeah.
First time I talk about this film to like parents, like I'm gonna see this film. They're kind of like, what? And they don't really want to hear about it. And then later on, I think my mum did hear about it, and she's like, "Oh, so what's that about?" And she seemed more interested then. But when you first like mention it to the common man, it's off-putting, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, well,
I chuckled a few times. Yeah. I wasn't completely stony-faced. There were some genuinely funny moments.
It's specifically
his Jojo's friend. Can you remember?
Yogi, right?
Yoki.
I thought it was Yogi, like as in.
I will.
I always remember. No, he was funny. He's kind of like just very deadpan. Yorkie. Okay.
Yeah, Yorkie. Jojo has a friend called Yorkie who is very funny.
Yeah, he's very funny. Yeah.
Chubby Hitler Youth kid who's incredibly out of his depth being drafted into the war. He had some good lines.
Well, it's interesting. I always find it interesting when there's like a big kind of like division in people's opinions. So
I'd recommend it. Ben's
I
say
would say see it because it's not something like
because when you came out, you said it was outright bad.
I said it was quite bad, and I do think it's quite bad.
Okay.
For me, it's very. It just doesn't. Most of it just doesn't work for me. Okay. Apart from a few chuckles. I was waiting for it to end. I was like looking up at the ceiling, like. Oh,
really?
I was. Yeah, no, I was so bored. But I would say I wouldn't not recommend it because it is divisive and it is.
I think I can't speak for everyone because people like Ben didn't like it, but like I like Taika Waititi films, all the ones I've seen.
So do I.
Yeah, I know that's
such a disappointment.
That's the weird thing. Like I really liked it, so I think there is a chance. There's clearly a chance that you'd be like me and you'd really like it if you like his other stuff. Yeah. But then there is the chance that you could end up being like Ben and really not like it.
Yeah, it's not. X-Men Dark Phoenix, where I would just say, just don't see it. It's a film that is worth seeing.
Well, it's also not just you two that have like, because like I remember seeing a lot of people really loved it. Like it got some great reviews, but The Guardian gave it like 1 star, which is like 1 star.
Yeah. I think that's like most of the critical reviews were quite harsh, but then I remember looking online and like all the audience really liked it.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't look hard enough because Ben didn't like it, but
so it's a film that's very like. Very kind of,
That was another thing that got me. How can something be so bold and so disappointing? Because it's not like anything else. It is unique, fresh, original, reasonably creative, and also so bad.
Well, I'm not going to agree with you on that statement, but I thought it was all those things and good at the end. So.
Go see it.
Yeah.
I will say, one thing we can agree on is you should watch it.
The other people you saw it with were kind of in the middle, weren't you?
Yeah, we saw 2 other people, and they were middling. So
it's very, it's interesting.
Which is why I'm more surprised by Ben's thing, because I could see maybe thinking it was just okay and like not as funny as you wanted and didn't hit all the notes you wanted, but I couldn't see thinking of this film as bad. Yeah, but Ben
Would you say compared to Taika Waititi's other films, it's weaker? You think so?
I think it's maybe on like I might put it above. I love Thor Ragnarok. But that is a Marvel film. I might put it above that, or on the same level. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I think Hunt for the Wilder People is my favourite one. And then I really like What We Do in the Shadows. which I know Jermaine is like half.
Co-director and writer,
yeah,
isn't he?
so he's it's still a Taika
You've seen
film.
some of his early stuff, haven't you?
Old Boy.
Not
Old Boy. Boy, yeah.
Boy. Let's watch Boy to understand Old Boy.
I don't know. I think Old Boy came out before, right? Boy's really good. Yeah.
I always want to call the other one Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but it's not Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Eagle versus Shark.
That's it.
That's got Jermaine in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not seen that one.
Yeah.
Abel, who we had on the podcast for Doctor Sleep, yeah, he's recommending it to me the other week, so...
Oh, fair enough.
Don't know. I think that one people didn't like. So that's
Fair enough.
Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah. No, it is I agree. It is a make your own mind up film. It's worth watching.
Yeah, it's got me curious, just hearing different, like, perspectives on it. Makes me want to see it.
Was the last one we'll talk
So-
about marriage?
That
Yeah.
rounds out the Oscar ones that we've all seen.
Yeah, we've already talked about The Irishman and
And
Joker,
Joker.
so we
Well,
didn't really
Well,
need
Joker is lost.
Joker's, we never actually talked about this on the podcast.
that was
but
the
that's,
lost one.
That's
The
a
lost
lost episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about if we do like a films of the
Maybe it'll
year.
come back. Yeah, I can see.
Which
Yeah,
I want to
going up
do
again.
February, March or something, when there's not
Yeah.
many films coming out.
when the films actually come out in England, you know,
Yeah.
like last year's movies when they're actually out.
Yeah.
So we have to do it. Wait till
Parasite.
March to do the best of 2019, like.
Because we don't
Living off
get
scraps.
Lighthouse or Parasite too.
But yeah,
Well, yeah, Marriage Story.
Marriage Story.
yeah, Story's good. You know.
Yeah,
I really
I like
liked
Marriage
it.
Story because it's an actual film.
Yeah.
You know, it's an actual film where people just talk, which is a guilty pleasure of mine. Once in a while, I'll sit down and watch a film without any superheroes.
Oh no, I do that quite a lot at the moment.
Well, no one's
yeah.
looking.
Although I did watch
I
Gemini Man.
I closed the
but,
curtains.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that like it's good enough because, like, you know, it's a fairly basic premise. It's like, oh, a couple get divorced.
I didn't know what it was about. I knew it
It's
was
like
about
that's all
a
I knew,
marriage.
but like that really is the only thing. Like
Yeah.
it's a couple
Yeah.
getting divorced.
I-
It's like,
I-
if you just describe it that way, you're like, oh, well, that doesn't sound very interesting.
I describe it as a rom-com without the romance or comedy.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
true. Yeah, that's true.
it's like the sequel that you never see to rom-coms.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it does have some funny moments.
It's
Oh, yeah.
surprisingly
But it
funny.
definitely would not come
I
under
was
rom-com.
I sat down. I was expecting like a heavy
Drama would be what I'd
drama,
put
a
on
heavy
there, but-
arty drama, but it's surprisingly funny.
Yeah, it has
There's
some funny moments.
genuine chuckles.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Some funny lines.
And
If
that's
I
good.
was representing you, you are representing me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that dude from
Also, some like
Goodfellas, right?
Really
He's
awesome.
funny,
Really
yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
Also, some like sort of like Kafkaesque absurdism in the way that Adam Driver's character Charlie is completely trapped in this system that doesn't make any sense. Well, there's nothing he can do right,
Yeah.
and just has to go with it. Stuff like
Yeah.
that I didn't expect. Caught me off guard.
Yeah, no, both great performances.
Great
from the
performances.
Yeah, the poor-
Adam Driver always.
The performances kind of
delivers.
carry the film because
Yeah, definitely.
it's just them two in a room.
Not just them, but the supporting
talking.
actors as well. So you got
Yeah.
Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson, both very good. Then Ray Liotta, we mentioned. Laura Dern is
Yeah,
good.
Laura Dern's
Oh, yeah.
won some awards for that.
She
I
got
think.
some nominations for
Yeah, for like
And
supporting
awards.
actress. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
You know, the acting. Well, yeah, the acting's really good in the whole film.
Yeah.
But on paper, it's just them arguing for like 2 hours. But like, it is a good film because
Well, there's only
it's
really...
well written.
It's actually
and
quite-
the
I mean, yeah,
characters- the acting's really good.
Because you
as
would
well.
you would think if it were like a cheaper film and not like as subtle, it would just be a load of like scenes of them like getting into
Yeah.
arguments.
That's the thing. It's
But
there's
there's
only
not
really
a
one
lot.
argument.
Yeah,
It
there's one
climaxes
that
in
major
one
scene, which
arg-
is like that one big argument they
yeah.
have. But apart
It's
from
like everything they've been thinking finally comes out because
Okay.
you see
Yeah,
their
that's a good
slow
point.
the escalation of it all. They start with trying to not even use lawyers. They just have a divorce mediator,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and then things get more technical. Nicole serves Charlie the papers,
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. He's like, I thought we weren't going to get lawyers involved, and it's
Yeah.
like talk of custody. And it's all simmering away all this very harsh legal process that pits them against each other, and so it then finally explodes in one
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah, alright,
argument.
maybe I was being too general about it. But yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, it was nice as well. Like you get so used to on like cliched Hollywood shit of like when couples are breaking up and it's like just so cartoonish. And it's like obviously if people have been married for a while, like it's not that simple. You know, people don't just instantly like I hate you and never want to see you again. Like people are complicated. So I thought it did a really good job of like showing
Yeah.
the kind of human, complexity of
Well,
it.
there's one line that sums up the film when I can't remember actually who it is. I think it might be Charlie's original divorce lawyer. I don't know the name of the character or the actor, the one he gets before really. Also, he seems like a basically decent guy.
Yeah.
Where he says that he says something like criminal defense attorneys see bad people at their best, and divorce attorneys see good people at their worst.
Yeah.
And that's the heart of the film, really. Nicole and Charlie aren't bad. They seem perfectly nice when you see them. It's all about the ways that the system causes them to betray each other, make sneaky maneuvers, brings them to conflict.
No, and I thought
you don't really side with either of them, do you?
That's the thing. I was wondering at the start, like, will one of these guys turn out to be more reasonable? But they're both pretty.
Yeah.
Like,
it mostly leans towards to Charlie, Adam Driver, because I know it's based on Noah Baumbach, the writer and director, his actual experiences with divorce.
Of course,
So he has more of an insight into the man's perspective.
Yeah.
But then also, there is one scene where Laura Dern's character, Nicole's lawyer, talks about how women have to be the perfect mother, and the idea of a good father's only existed for 30 years, so that's not even a problem for Charlie, but she has to be the perfect mother, and you get a real balance of the problems men and women face, and he's sympathetic. You understand both of them. They're trying to do what's best for their son as well.
Really makes you hate the lawyers.
Because
they're just like directly antagonistic.
Like the lawyers are just kind of going at the other lawyer, and then you can see
and they're both
it shows them looking at each other, like thinking, "What are we doing?"
And then it reaches lunch, and the lawyers don't care anymore. They're friends again for their lunch break. It's just about the legal system really, and how that causes such a problem for.
I also thought it was really clever how, like, that scene where the two lawyers are kind of going at each other, and they bring up, like, circumstances of their behaviour, which you saw earlier in the film, which seemed quite innocent. Just like, Scarlett Johansson's, like, had a bit to drink and she slips a bit. And then they're like, she's irresponsible. She was like drunk enough that she was like falling down the stairs. And it's like, well, not really. Like, and then there was another one with Adam Driver where it's like, he couldn't. Was like the car seat or something. Like he couldn't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he has like, an unsafe car seat or something.
Yeah, and it's like little things that they bring up. And they're like, look how awful this person is.
That's the thing. It's about how two decent.
They find like little things with the people, little wrong things, and they're like, look, this is awful. Like, so I thought that was really clever because I imagine. I mean, I don't have any experience, but I imagine that must be how like lawyers work when they're trying to build a case.
I think it's supposed to be fairly accurate.
Yeah. I don't know.
Another example of that is when one partner can't hire a lawyer that's already consulted the other one.
Oh,
Do you remember that's a true thing that happens? Yeah. So if you talk to lots of lawyers, that limits the options of the person who gets a divorce from it. Nicole does a lot of things that you don't actually see, and then Charlie finds out about them later. And
that's true.
Say, we said we weren't going to do that. And you sort of increases tension that way, where you start to think, is she purposely snaking him, or is she just doing her own thing?
Yeah. Which is kind of good because it's like, how much it's actually her and how much it's, the greasebag lawyers.
Yeah, I don't know too much to say on that one. I really liked it, and I definitely recommend it.
Adam Driver is a surprisingly good singer.
Yeah, that's that one scene.
He does a really good musical number. Yeah. And
I didn't like the musical stuff. That leans in too much to the wanky New York theatre stuff, which I don't like so much.
It wasn't like.
I didn't love it, but like it was like.
But he's a good singer.
Yeah. Surprised.
When's that Kylo Ren musical we're all begging for?
So Marriage Story's good.
Story, good.
1917, good. Jojo Rabbit, go see. You might like it. You might not.
Make your own
Gemini Man, watch if you.